bar was called the Crimson Lounge. Tucked away in a dark alley, it wasn't the kind of place you'd stumble into by accident. But that night, I wasn't looking for an accident. I was looking for an escape. I pushed open the heavy oak door, and a chill ran down my spine. The air was thick with the scent of whiskey and something else. Something rotten. The bartender stood behind the counter, polishing a glass with slow, deliberate movements. He was tall, unnaturally so, with slicked back hair and eyes that gleamed like molten gold. "Welcome, stranger," he said, his voice smooth as aged bourbon. "What brings you to my humble establishment?" I hesitated before sliding onto a stool. "I need a drink. Something strong." He smirked, reaching for a bottle of deep crimson liquid. "Oh, I can offer you much more than just a drink," he murmured. "I can offer you a deal." I should have walked out then. Every fiber of my being screamed at me to run. But desperation is a powerful thing, and I had nothing left to lose. "What kind of deal?" I asked. His grin widened, revealing teeth that were too sharp. "Anything you desire, wealth, power, love, even revenge, for a price, of course." My fingers curled around my empty glass. "And what's the price?" He leaned in, the dim bar lights casting sinister shadows across his face. "Your soul eventually, but for now, just a small favor. One task, complete it, and your wish is granted." I should have refused. I should have walked away. Instead, I nodded. The bartender slid a small, yellowed envelope across the counter. "Deliver this to an old friend of mine. The address is inside." I picked up the envelope. It felt strangely warm. "That's it?" "That's it," he winked. "For now." The address led me to a decrepit motel on the outskirts of town. Room 306. My hands trembled as I knocked. The door creaked open, revealing a man gaunt and pale, with sunken eyes and trembling fingers. "Did he send you?" the man whispered. I nodded, handing him the envelope. His eyes widened in horror as he tore it open. His mouth opened in a silent scream, and then he collapsed, his body shriveling before my eyes, turning to dust. My heart pounded as I stumbled back. What the hell had I done? I ran back to the bar, slamming the door open. The bartender was waiting, smirking as if he already knew. "Well done," he purred. "Your wish is granted." Before I could protest, my phone buzzed. A bank notification. My account suddenly overflowing with millions. My debts erased, my problems solved. But at what cost? I turned back to the bartender, but he was gone. The bar itself was gone. I stood alone in the alley, the neon sign flickering one last time before vanishing into darkness. And then I heard the whisper, right behind me. "One favor down, many more to go. The devil always collects his debts." The nightmares started that night. Dark figures in my dreams, whispering in tongues I didn't understand. Faces melting into shadows. Every night, the same terrifying visions. I woke up drenched in sweat, gasping for breath. Something had changed in me. I could feel it. Something had latched onto my soul. The money was real. My bank account swelled. My debts vanished. I bought a new car, a luxury apartment, but I could never shake the feeling that I was being watched. And then, the favors began. It started with a phone call, a voice I didn't recognize, deep and cold. "Meet me at the docks, midnight." I should have ignored it. I should have pretended the deal had never happened. But something inside me, something primal, knew that wasn't an option. At midnight, I arrived at the docks. A heavy mist rolled over the water, swallowing everything in sight. A man in a dark suit stood waiting. His face was obscured by shadows. "You owe a debt," he said. "It's time to collect." My throat tightened. "What do you want?" The man handed me another envelope, just like the first. "Deliver this, and don't ask questions." I took the envelope. My hands trembled. "What happens if I refuse?" The man smiled. "Refusal isn't an option." I swallowed hard and nodded. Another delivery, another life ruined. But this time, something inside me snapped. I had to find a way out. I went to the address but didn't deliver the letter. Instead, I opened it. Inside was a single sentence. He sees you. The air around me grew thick. A presence loomed behind me. I turned, but there was nothing. Only shadows shifting unnaturally. Then the whispers returned. Louder, more urgent. I ran. I ran until my lungs burned. But no matter how far I went, I could still hear them. The bartender, the man in the suit, the unseen entity watching me. I realized then I had never escaped the Crimson Lounge. I was still in its grasp, and the devil never lets his prey go. Now every night I hear the knocking. On my walls, my doors, my mind. The devil is waiting. And sooner or later, I will have to answer.